Sleep paralysis. Sleep paralysis occurs when you are in an awakened state without the ability to move or speak. It can be a terrifying experience for some that can even become life-threatening. The stories I'm about to tell you are real-life cases of sleep paralysis and are going to make you think twice before turning off the lights. This is 10 of the most scariest cases of sleep paralysis. Number 10 is Mirror, Mirror on the Wall. It's not uncommon for people suffering from sleep paralysis to associate it with dreams or even hallucinations. When Dee Jansma was 12 years old, she was a fan of Canadian pop star Justin Bieber. And like any youth at that time had a picture of the pop star in their room. She would tend to fall asleep facing the mirror to see the reflection of the poster. However, one night after trying to wake up, Jansma realized she couldn't move. In a panicked state, she turned to the poster. Instead of seeing the pop star, in its place was a decomposing man. The man was perched on the bed looking right at her with his lifeless eyes. Jansma closed her eyes and waited for the ordeal to stop. Once it finally was over, she quickly took the poster down. Number 9 is A Fistful of Spiders. On Reddit there is a user named Pigwig775 who talked about what they experienced during a recent sleep paralysis episode that still scares her till to this day, which included hallucinations of her 2 friends and a fistful of spiders. She woke up to seeing herself sleeping straight in her bed, being unable to move, and her 2 friends sitting on either side of the bed. They sat there just looking at her, however had distorted faces with shadows and darkness covering their faces as she struggled to get free. Suddenly the 2 friends began to throw spiders at her and she felt every one of them crawl on her skin. All she wanted to do now was to get up and turn on the lights and shake off the spiders. But the sleep paralysis kept her locked in place. All she could do was endure the ordeal until it stopped. Number 8 is Death at Your Doorsteps. For an anonymous user on Kuroa, their first sleep paralysis experience was something that shook them to their core. As they laid in their bed waiting for their sleep to take over, they felt an immense pressure on their body and realized they were unable to move. It was then they finally felt an eerie presence in the room and can see the Grim Reaper in all its glory. The Grim Reaper tried to claw at him, almost reaching him, however, was pulled back by some kind of invisible force, but even then it was still trying to attack him. The episode finally ended and a sigh of relief came over them, but little did they know, it was just the beginning. Number 7 is The Scream That Never Came. On some occasions sleep paralysis seems to affect individuals simultaneously. KJ remembers an episode where both her and her husband were both affected. She was awakened after hearing her husband mumbled, "She has my hands," only to see his hand in front of her face. At the same time she felt a heavy pressure on her face, making it impossible for her to move or scream. Suddenly she felt a hand grab her hair and was dragging her out of her bed. The pain was so unbearable it made her want to cry. But her screams never came and she was unable to open her mouth no matter how hard she tried. Being paralyzed and scared, she pushed through the ordeal and waited for the episode to end. After a while the pressure dissipated and she was finally able to move again. Still shaken, she turned over to look at her husband, but he was fast asleep, unaware of what had just transpired. Number 6 is The Smiling Lady. Some people are terrorized by different evil presences throughout their sleep paralysis, however for others they can be haunted by the same figure for years. At the age of 16, Jane Owens is tormented by a witch dressed in a black cloak and hood. On some nights the witch would perch herself on Jane's chest and would stare down at her while donning a smile. On other occasion the witch would reach around, grab the back of Jane's head and her top jaw to try and yank her head back. Over the years the witch would appear in various spots around Jane's bed when she sleeps, and even make menacing voices and whispers to scare her victim. Others have come forward also claiming to have also been terrorized by a similar witch during their sleep paralysis episodes. Maybe it's not a hallucination but a real nightmare that awaits us when we sleep. Number 5 is Cheers. About 5 years ago, Reddit user Resistance, who has had sleep paralysis since they were in grade school, suffered a traumatic episode that also included a dream. While dreaming they watched themselves sleeping on their bed in the third-person point of view. However, they got thirsty and decided to satisfy their thirst by cutting up batteries and drinking the acid. The dream then switches to the first person and they can taste acid in their mouth and can feel the acid burning as it was going down their throat. This caused them to wake up to their sleep paralysis. The burning in their throat and body remained and they lied helplessly on their beds, unable to move. They were finally able to wake up, but for how long? Number 4 is The Voices. Reddit user Arpch suffers from sleep paralysis and experiences it several times a week. Once they realized they were powerless to stop the sleep paralysis, they accepted the facts to get past being scared, but things took a turn for the worst. It started with auditory hallucinations, hearing phone calls or familiar voices, telling them to break free to respond. When they learned to avoid the voices, the nightmarish whispers started. Also avoiding the whispers, they could feel themselves fall down deeper and deeper into darkness. On some occasion they would feel their body be thrown into the air and try to fly without any control. The episode finally stopped after they felt a dark figure grab their legs and swings them back down to their bed. Number 3 is the eternal night. Reddit user Jellybean Skittles found out the hard way that sleep paralysis can worsen following a trauma. After suffering from a head injury, they began experiencing episodes once a night for several months. It began with feeling an uneasy presence in the room and not being able to move or speak. Then it would move to them feeling as if they were being dragged by their arms or legs towards a mirror on their wardrobe. After a while they began seeing a dark figure that would reach out and drag them by their heads. They were able to produce just enough noise for the husband to hear and snap them out of it. Their experiences were so scary it made them feel that the day never came fast enough. Number 2 is the demon. There is a post on Ask Reddit that described their terrifying experience with a sleep paralysis demon. That happened one night as they were laying down facing away from their door. They felt a presence come inside their room and was against their back. The unseen figure wrapped their arms around them as they are stuck, not being able to move, and breathed down their necks. It felt as if this demon stayed in that position for half an hour and would move closer and closer as if it was trying to kiss their necks behind their ear. Instead of a kiss it would whisper, "Not yet, you're not ready yet. I'll come back when you are." The poster stated the voice sounded both disappointed and excited, and the user believed that the demon intends to return when they are on their deathbed. And number 1 is eyes like snakes. Just for a moment, imagine waking up to a masked man walking into your bedroom door. About 5 years ago, Reddit user Hoob Shankar shared his experience about seeing a figure wearing a bloody red soaked mask with violet snake-like eyes. The man wore a hooded brown robe carrying a sack. The figure would come to him at his side and pull from his sack his friends and families one by one as he slit their throats with his long nails. After the figure is done, it would then walk up to him and wipe him with the blood-drenched nails. He would then say, "Enjoy the time you have left. Because soon your life will be mine and your soul as well." And there you have it. The 10 scariest stories of sleep paralysis. Do you suffer from sleep paralysis or know of anyone else? If so, comment below. I'd like to know of your experience. Until next time, stay spooky. Like, share, and subscribe for more content like this one. Turn on bell notifications so you can be one of the first to be notified when I release new content.